Veikko Ikonen from Technical Research Center of Finland. I hope you can manage my session because it's after lunch and you will be tired. And I guess you hear me quite well, even without microphone. Yes, you do. So then I can walk here. Things like that. Okay. So there was excellent presentations. So in fact, I feel that I don't have to say pretty much. Still, I try to entertain you for a while. So my topic is RRI, responsible research and innovation, and I try to give you our view, what we have done in that field, and share our experiences, what we have done in project and in general. So a little bit about my background. My background is in anthropology, cultural anthropology, and I went to I studied in the University of Oulu, which is in the northern part of Finland, and I started there to do user studies for what's called MMHUX, Multimedia Homemade Communication System. And the idea of the system was to really build up a system for elderly care. And you can think that when you are building that kind of system, you will confront lots of ethical issues and tricky design issues. So that was the first time I really confronted the issues that are related to the ethics and technology and design. And in fact, in that project, we already defined design guidelines for ethical design guidelines for this kind of system. After that, in all those projects that are mentioned there, we did something that was in relation to the ethics and technology. I lead a team which is located in Tampere and also in Espoo, which is called Human-Driven Design and System Dynamics. So we do the kind of user studies, service design, but also systemic approach, so system design and modeling. It's also about marketing and consumer research. And now, like you said, the buzzword, responsible research and innovation. So, a little bit about VTT. You probably know it, it's so famous. This is our mission. So, to really be with the companies, collaborate with the universities, be an international organization. So, our aim is to really increase competitiveness of companies and different organizations. You can read our statements there. So, like I said, we are the biggest multi-technological applied research organization in Northern Europe. We do cross-disciplinary technological and business expertise. That's our way of work. At the moment, we are still a non-profit and impartial research center. In the beginning of the next year, we will be a company, government-owned company. So it will a little bit change our status, but I think that the way of working will stay the same. So those are now our defined business areas. Knowledge-intensive products and services, which is related mainly to the ICT, utilization of ICT, smart industry and energy systems, and solutions for natural resources and environment. And you can see those critical numbers there. So our mission is to really produce research and innovation services that enhance the international competitiveness of companies, society and other customers. And we create the prerequisites, really hard word, for society's sustainable development, employment and well-being. So the important word, of course, when you think about responsibility and the different elements of responsibility is here also. The sustainability and well-being. Those are the words that are really in connection to the RRI. So I won't go this through, but just say that we have this kind of innovation program where we can also develop our own methodologies, which are also related to this theme. So Design for Life is the name for that innovation program, and I will come a little bit later on that issue also. So RRI, what is that? We have heard that, of course, the ethical issues has been there, well, decades, thousands of years, from the beginning of the human birth. But now we are talking about RRI. And what is its role in age 2020? So I would say that, like previous speaker already told, it's a horizontal theme, and the term is meant to refer to the approaches to research and innovation that take into account ethical criteria and societal needs. And later on we will see that it's a bit even broader, but the ethical dimension, it's one of the key dimensions in our RRI, I think. So, it should be transparent, interactive process by which societal actors and innovators become mutually responsive. I think that this, you had also this definition, so I will go through. It should be inclusive approach to research and innovation to really ensure that societal actors work together during the whole research and innovation process. So the importance is to work together, so it should be collaborative process and during the whole process, from the beginning and continuing all the time. So it's hard, it's challenging. That's why we have to study that issue. So why? Why we need this kind of a new concept? There is the need to conduct research and innovation more responsibly. And this has emerged from the discussion of particular issues like GMO, nanotechnology, people tracking, healthcare applications, whatever. So there are always some kind of ethical issues when you are designing technology supported applications for people in everyday lives. Another reason is that how do actors envisage and importantly really think how to implement the notion of responsible innovation. We can have a nice definition that there should be this and these things included in RRI, but how do you really implement it? So this is the hard part. Questions of responsibility in the face of inherent uncertainty, risk, and unanticipated consequences. These kind of issues, they are not new, but it's more about questions as how to ensure that these outcomes of resulting from research and innovation will be adequate for society in the long run, and they respect ethical principles. So, general context is then, of course, the globalization. Like heard, there's cultural differences, of course, that how do we define even ethics, competition. Is this something that we can say that it gives us competitiveness? There's need for flexibility, and of course need to justify increased investment in research and innovation. That is one reason. There are grand social challenges, like demographic issues. So these reasons, of course, also call for this kind of a broader approach. And of course, the public opinion for the research and innovation. There are also product and process dimensions. So the broader focus on RRI can be realized by focusing these two dimensions. And the product dimension says this. So products should be evaluated and designed, marketed throughout a transparent process. That being defined in terms of safety, sustainability, which is environmental, economical, and also social. So it should use of technology assessment and technology foresight, application of precautionary principle, And then this is something that really is now also emphasized in H 2020, so piloting, so using of demonstration projects. So moving from risks to innovation governance. And this is really hard part for the project. So respecting fundamental normative principle, which was already mentioned here, the fundamental rights of the European Union. But then the process dimension. And I said that it's really challenging because you should have this kind of responsive, adaptive, integrated management process. It is a new thing. It is not a new thing to really to say that we need this multidisciplinary approach, but really how to implement that in the projects. That it will be kind of a real dialogue. It should be an inclusive innovation process, and then, of course, how we implement these requirements. We have their code, tools and methods, code of conducts, ethics by design approach, or ethics as a design factor. There are already deliberative mechanisms for allowing feedback with policymakers, but how we really include that all the participants can participate to the discussion, and that's also one issue for public debate. It should be quality in public debate, not the volume, not just consultation. So here is the circle for implementation in Europe for RRI. And of course, it's not just when we are talking about ethics and research, it's not just ethics of objectives, that what are these results from our projects. There you have to think about the requirements of equipment or products, requirements of service system, and of course privacy and security of information. But also, like in the previous talk, informed consent, rights of the participants, things like that. So it's also doing the research. How do you do it ethically? So I think that these are the main questions or issues for the responsible development or responsible research and innovation. So you have to think that who or what is designing your future everyday life. You have to identify the stakeholders. Who are the decision makers? Is it industry driven? Is it policy makers? What is the role of the citizens? Are they working together? What are their ambitions, goals, intentions, and what is behind of those? Is it really economically driven? What are the values? And then the tricky part is, of course, that you always confront trade-offs. There are conflicting interests. So how do you justify a different kind of opinions, and how do you justify decisions? On what grounds? The level of design. So what kind of systems are designed? Is it just a user interface, or do you go to the global ecosystem level? And then, of course, what is the RRI? And I will give a kind of one answer to the question. We think that human-driven design can be, anyway, given a few answers that how do you implement RRI to the project, to the research and innovation process. So, current buzzwords for responsible research and innovation. Ethics, it's mainly an academic approach. There are different kind of course, approaches in business ethics or innovation ethics. So it's mainly about reputation building. Is it really being honestly good? Sustainability, of course, related to the ecological thinking. Like I already mentioned, there are these ethics by design or privacy by design approach developed for the very critical issues. Clean tech, green tech, and of course quite many corporations and organizations are now utilizing CSR, corporate social responsibility. So quite much a reputation building, but I really think that these organizations really think also that how they can improve the well-being of the personnel, but also that how their products and services will be kind of a more, produced and marketed in a more responsible way. And of course, ethical consumption has been a word quite long already. Why sustainability then? Why RRI? So, when I'm talking about our view, it's mainly about that how we collaborate and take this kind of an approach to their industries and companies, because they are our collaborators. So here is from Laszlo, one of the or some of the ideas that how he thinks that sustainability creates business value. So it could be just that you are mitigating the risks, but in the other end you are thinking also that you are inspiring people, building a reputation, but also influencing industry standards. And if you are doing this in ahead compared to the other companies, then you are having probably also then some kind of a competitiveness leap. And it's you have to kind of follow a sustainability criteria. It could be also, we think, that if you really can work together in a good dialogue with the collaborators, it could be even kind of an empowering experience. So Laszlo said that it should be kind of an flourishing experience. So let's go to the question that what is RRI? We have these definitions. Here are the elements. In the middle you can see how Horizon 2020 and EU are saying these are the main elements. Engagement, open access, gender, ethics, science education and governance. And then academics are saying that it should be include anticipation, inclusion, responsiveness, reflexivity and transparency. So you can see that there are quite similar elements, but they are using different words. And in the UK they have this kind of an area approach, so it's easy to remember. Anticipate, reflect, engage and act. So these are nice concepts, nice dimensions. But how do you really implement these, that they are not just issues that you do like in ethics assessment, that you are ticking the boxes. You are saying that yes, we did this, no that we didn't, but we didn't need to do that. So if you really want to do this well, you really have to think that how you do it, that you can do reflection. And the hardest part is probably that when you have some kind of a view to the design, then how do you act? If it's something that it's not probably economically preferable, then how do you act? So, what I think, and what was in the title, we need to co-construct. We need to collaborate to really build up this approach with companies, with academics, with public, with policymakers. Let's say the ethics is not a new thing in research and innovation. There has been participatory approach from 60s, even earlier. User-centered design has emphasized the participation in 70s, 80s and 90s. User experience studies, design for all approach, that it should be inclusive, the designs. So it has been there in our work in some level, in many projects. And now it's called RRI. What we have done earlier, one of the examples is this project. So it was about these microsensors, nanotechnology, and we built up there with the companies. We had well, Nokia from Finland, but lots of companies from Europe doing semiconductors and things like that. And we built up ethical principles for that design process. And here you can see that we abstract those ideas in different levels, and we have there different tools and methods. For example, ethical expert panel, advisory board, and our own ethical experts. So with them we defined the main ethical principles: privacy, autonomy, integrity and dignity, reliability, e-inclusion, and the broader idea, the role of technology in the society. And these things you should take into account in different levels when you are designing system. I will show you some examples. The later project utilized the results of that Minabel project, and there we were designing guardian angels. So physical guardian angels, monitoring of health parameters to predict and prevent health problems, environmental guardian angels, monitoring natural environment, emotional guardian angels. So you can think that you need to really think that what kind of what critical design issues you will have there when you are talking about emotion identification and utilizing that in different kind of applications. So we utilize those principles, and we have this kind of higher level statements for different kind of ethical principles. But then when you go to the lower level in the designs, and even you are designing or developing a new semiconductor, you can take this kind of higher level principles and think how they affect when you are designing a more effective semiconductor, how it is applied in the real world, and you can put that idea already in your design. So now I will come back to the human-driven design and the design for life approach. So it's an innovation program, and there we looked at 4 different parts: the design and development of socio-technical systems, co-innovation and co-design, user experience and value in use, and future context of living and working. I'm mainly now concentrating on co-design and innovation. I think it's an integral part of engagement and inclusion, which are the really important part of the RRI. So the objectives for the design for life is to have competitive advantage and better productivity by taking human well-being and values as the driving forces, empowering people to influence their living and working environments, finding solutions to big societal challenges together, and enabling human control of complexity. So we identified their challenges, areas that need renewal. So future consumers, we need to have more profound, thorough understanding of future consumers and citizens. The world, and especially technology, is becoming more complex, and the innovation process, and how to really think about that, how we implement their alternative co-design methods and approach. So understanding future consumers, we think that it includes 3 perspectives: consumer understanding, research that aims to understanding consumer activity, culture, and values. So you should take into account values more than nowadays. Foresight activities, which is also very important in RRI definitions. You should have this kind of anticipation activities and reflective approaches. So here we have those ideas that are also implemented or defined in RRI definitions. So we also identified a future or current research needs that we need to do for understanding future consumer and citizens, and I just take the first one. So creating a knowledge pool of future consumer behavior, values and cultures in context of living and working. Then I won't go through this slide, complexity in design, but go merely now to the co-design issues. Okay. So, okay, I believe and think that the public engagement, collaborative design, co-design is really important. So what is that? So it's involving different stakeholders, not just users, but different stakeholders in the innovation and design process. Some examples. So companies bring their employees and partners into collaborative workshops. Consumers participate in service development, and then citizens develop their living environment together, for example, with a municipality or city. We have a thought, because in the first speech today we were talking about that, how do you involve different kind of, let's say, citizens to your studies. We have thought that what could be the way to really have this kind of an attractive way to accomplish participation. So, for example, IME space is that it should be fun when you come to us and participate to our co-design sessions. So I will show you the video and you will see more clearly that what I mean with these co-design pages. There should be voice, but let's see if you can find it here. Okay, but it's just music background, so you can see and probably also see those lines. So this is a virtual environment in a laboratory where you can have almost like real life experience, but still it's virtual environment. Basic usability lab. It's still important to when you are designing user interfaces, but then you can go also to try to track emotional things by EGG and things like that. Yeah, let's go back. So, when you are working with companies, you need to justify this kind of results. Why go design? So, we have thought it thoroughly, and we think that it really helps to identify new strategic business possibilities, improve existing services, and optimize internal processes. It gives you deeper understanding of customers' needs and wishes, and it helps you catch the new ideas, of course, because user-driven innovation, it has been there, but how much is it really utilized? One of the important issues is that when you're doing really good, putting your resources and doing really good co-design, you can avoid costly redesigns later. and that is evident. Nowadays, of course, you can use virtual environments and different kind of tools, so it will be easier and cheaper than before. So, what we have heard from companies, they really need to have this customer or user voice. So the closer relationship with these stakeholders is really important. So, in the beginning, I said that human-driven design could give you some answers that how to do responsible co-design. And we have defined human-driven design approach this way. So it should take a human and social view to users of technology as individuals and members of human social groups, such as family, organization or community, and as consumers. It is responsible in terms of being aware of human, societal and ethical values related to a particular design and reflecting them in the design in order to make the technology support well-being and activities of people as well as sustainability. So the sustainability, social, economic, environmental and economic. It should be collaborative, it should utilize a different kind of methods, it should include different kind of users. So, like I said in my first project, we have their elderly focused project, but of course we need to have there also the personnel who are taking care of elderly, but also policymakers and other stakeholders to really think about that how you implement a new designs. It should be future oriented. So it's not just the thing about that what will be the future technologies, but also what will be the future environment in general. And it's not easy because you are aiming to the holistic view and you cannot do it alone. You need to have really all the stakeholders with you, and that's the hard part. So, we think that responsible design, responsible research and innovation is required throughout the product lifecycle. You should do it in theory, but quite fast you should go to the context, because in the context you are in the real life and there you confront those tricky problems. Like in the first speech you were saying about evidence-based. Also here you have to contextualize the things. You can utilize scenarios in the beginning of the process, but quite fast you should pilot, demonstrate issues. We have done, like as we said, general guidelines, and they never managed to cover all issues. Because, like I said, there are application-related issues, application-specific issues, and contextual issues. And what you need? You need training, you need increasing awareness, you need discussion and communication. So then you can really understand other stakeholders' viewpoints and build together the best approaches and best solutions. And then you probably are going a little bit closer to the empowering, or one concept is deliberative design practice. And that is what I think is the co-construction of responsible research and innovation approach. But for the companies, of course, they think about the economical side of this issue, and then you can say that it also increases your quality assurance. So you can also have economical profit with this approach. So these could be the basic statements for RRI. So the society should make use of the technology so that it increases the quality of life and does not cause harm to anyone. And like in the first speech, this is our aim, but of course you have their conflicting interests and trade-offs. So that's the part of the ethics, to make you think that how do you solve these problems. I like this Melvin Grant's first law of technology. because it says that technology itself is neither good nor bad, nor is it neutral. So always it is about implementation of technologies, contextualizing the issues. So, thank you.